The Sacramento Kings has had a rough season and off season, and at this point I could probably say that every year now and it would still hold true. The Kings look like a really bright team after their 2018-2019 season, and coming into 2020 they look to really challenge the West and finally get into the playoffs. But injuries and inconsistent play really hurt this team last season. They brought in Luke Walton as their coach last season, and he has really slowed down the pace of this team. They were a fast-paced run-and-gun team with Dave Yeager as the coach, but Luke really wanted to prioritize half-court scoring, and this team slowed down their pace. It was an interesting move because a guy like Deaaron Fox thrived in that fast-paced offense, but he has really focused on growing as a player operating in half-court situations. Marvin Bagley was injured and people are already throwing around the bust label on him, and there are questions of if Buddy Hield is going to be traded. I can honestly see a case where Buddy Hield is traded in the next offseason or trade deadline and the team gives the keys to Tyrese Haliburton as the shooting guard. Buddy Hield just doesn't seem like a long-term option for this team, and does anyone really see Buddy as a franchise player who can lead your team to wins? This team showed a lot of potential, and I was really high on this team, like really high, but I'm not so sure now. Harry Giles was let go and he went to the Blazers, Kent Bazemore went to the Warriors, and Alex Len went to the Raptors. Bogdan Bogdanovic was let go in free agency as he signed with the Atlanta Hawks, but they did draft Tyrese Haliburton in the draft, and he is a combo guard, so letting Bogdan go is justified here. But when you look at it from the standpoint that this team benched Buddy Hield for Bogdan, then it really doesn't make sense on why they would let him walk for nothing. So is Buddy Hield going to go back to being a starter, and the Kings did all that drama for nothing, making Buddy a sixth man just to bring him back as a starter? Like, what is going on here? There is stuff to be optimistic about for this team here, for the Kings. They have a good core of Fox, Hield, and Bagley, and pieces like Harrison Barnes, Nemanja Bjelica, Daquan Jeffries, Glenn Robinson, Corey Joseph, who is an underrated energy guy off the bench, and Richaun Holmes, who is criminally underrated as a rim-running big man. Frank Kaminsky is a third-string big who they just brought in, and I guess Hassan Whiteside, he signed a one-year deal with the team. Daquan Jeffries really is seen to be someone who can potentially replace a Kent Bazemore. He played in limited games last season in Sacramento, but showed potential that he can really be a good long-term piece for this team. And the Kings do seem like they're very high on him, as they gave him strong minutes in the bubble. And he is a player to seriously watch for the Kings because his defense, passing, and growing offensive game, someone who could potentially put the ball down and drive and create scoring opportunities for his team, is something he can really thrive in. He does need to improve on his three-point shot, but he is a piece that can really help the Kings in the long term. Glenn Robinson can really be a good rotation player for the Kings, a guy who can really be a good defensive piece and shoot the three ball. And 3-and-D guys is something the Kings really need more of, players who can work defensively and give that effort, being a reliable wing defender that can spot up and feed off of a Fox or Haliburton. So I like this signing for the Kings. I can see the Kings being a really good offensive team, may improve slightly, just slightly defensively. Hassan Whiteside's ability to block shots at the center position and be a big guy defending the paint is an upgrade over Richaun Holmes' presence in the paint. But Whiteside isn't the greatest of defenders, does tend to bite on fakes a lot, not much consistent effort, and not really much of defending the perimeter. But the signing of Whiteside was to at least get someone who can be a defensive threat in the paint, or just show signs of that. Really got to see more from Fox, Bagley, and Hield defensively. Barnes is a solid defender, and there are pieces off the bench like Robinson and Corey Joseph to help the team out defensively. Haliburton, I don't expect him to make an immediate impact right away defensively. Still has to fill out his frame and be disciplined there, but with his athleticism, height, and wingspan, he can grow to be a defensive plus. Everyone should be healthy next season, hopefully, and when everyone was healthy on his team, there was good production. Fox is going to take that next jump in his game. Hield is still just a scoring threat, and Bagley really has to show out this season. Like, you can't drop a diss track on Damian Lillard and barely play any games. If Bagley can be a double-double guy, dropping 18 points and 10 rebounds on good efficiency and showing some floor spacing, then he's going to be a guy we have to really watch out for. Harrison Barnes is a solid complementary piece to these guys, but I don't know if his future is with this team. In the draft, they did take Tyrese Haliburton as he slid to the team at the 12th pick. Tyrese is looked at to be a good combo guard who can come in, shoot, play make, and be a floor general for this team. In the second round, the team drafted forward Robert Woodard at the number 40th pick in a trade with the Memphis Grizzlies. The team also drafted shooting guard Jahmi'us Ramsey with the 43rd pick in the draft. Ramsey may see some minutes at the guard spot behind Haliburton and Corey Joseph, but overall, looking at this roster, it's okay. I don't see the Kings making the playoffs, but with everyone healthy, I do expect at least this team to stay competitive in the West. The main question for this team is their young core. Does the front office have faith in their core to help push them to the playoffs? Fox is the best player on this team, and he has potential to be an all-star level player, but he needs to grow as an all-around point guard. There are also questions of, does Buddy Hield truly want to be a Sacramento King, and can he be an improved defender and grow as a playmaker to help this team? Can Marvin Bagley stay healthy? Bagley has tons of potential to be something great, but we need to see more of it. Also, is he a power forward or a center? Can he be a guy to stretch the floor and grow defensively? Also, there isn't much veterans on this team. I guess you can say Harrison Barnes and Hassan Whiteside, but if Whiteside is your veteran, I worry for you. The team had an up and down season last year with injuries, lineup changes, and inconsistent play, but can they turn this around next season? The Kings are a team that really has to get going because they have been irrelevant for far too long. They haven't been in the playoffs for around 15 years. They were on a good track to turn this franchise around, but last season really hurt them. The team does have shooting, will be a good offensive team next season with Fox as their lead guard, but defensively, they may not be the best, or at best, they may be an average defensive team. This team has some stuff they have to figure out. They are in a good position in terms of draft picks, and I expect to see them in the lottery next year, but the questions of this team's core and how stable it really is has to be answered.